What is going on in Las Vegas? First, the Raiders traded Geno Smith and basically paid for him to go to the Jets. Yes, you heard that right. The team sent the quarterback away, attached a draft pick, and will still pay a big portion of his salary. But hold on, because there's more. The Raiders also decided to make a move at kicker, and Daniel Carlson might officially be out. That's right. One of the most reliable players this franchise has had in recent years could be on his way out. The offseason barely started, and it's already turned into total chaos. So buckle up and smash that like button, because today was absolutely wild for Raider Nation. Let's get straight to it, because this story is a big one. The Raiders traded Geno Smith to the New York Jets. The trade is simple, but at the same time, kind of bizarre. Las Vegas sent Geno Smith plus a 2026 7th-round pick to the Jets. In return, they received a 2026 6th-round pick. Translated, the Raiders basically moved up about 20 spots at the very end of the draft. And there's another detail here that has a lot of people raising their eyebrows. The Raiders will pay most of Geno Smith's salary just so the Jets would accept the deal. In other words, Las Vegas literally paid to get rid of their quarterback. Now let's talk about the football side of things. Geno Smith arrived last offseason after a trade with the Seattle Seahawks. The expectation was clear. He would be the bridge quarterback, the veteran who could keep the team competitive while the front office figured out the future of the position. But the season was disappointing. The offense never really got going, the results didn't come, and inside the organization the feeling was pretty simple. This wasn't going to last. With the arrival of new head coach Clint Kubiak, fresh off a Super Bowl championship as the Seahawks offensive coordinator, the plan has completely changed. Everything points to the team's real target being quarterback Fernando Mendoza from Indiana University, who is expected to be selected with the #1 pick in the draft. In other words, Geno became expendable in the new plan. And here's the interesting part. A lot of people believed the Raiders would simply release Geno Smith, but GM John Spytek managed to get at least something in return. It's not a trade that changes the direction of the franchise, but it avoids losing the player for nothing. There's also the personal side of the story for Geno. He's returning to the Jets, the team that originally drafted him back in 2013. He even said it feels like a full circle moment. Good for him. But for the Raiders, this move sends a very clear message. The franchise just hit the reset button. Let's look at the current situation. Quarterbacks on the roster, or basically confirmed: Aiden O'Connell, Fernando Mendoza, likely the #1 overall pick. That alone shows how big this change is. The big question now is, will the Raiders bring in a veteran to mentor Mendoza? Because relying only on O'Connell as the backup could be risky. And when you combine this trade with everything else happening this offseason, the plan becomes even clearer. The team also traded Max Crosby for 2 first-round picks, added several players in free agency, and is basically rebuilding the entire roster. This isn't just a small adjustment, it's a full franchise rebuild. And honestly, after last season, maybe that's exactly what needed to happen. But hold on, if the Geno trade already sounded strange, wait until you see what the Raiders just did with their kicker, because this decision could seriously divide the fan base. If Geno Smith's departure showed that the offense is changing, this next move shows that even the most stable positions on the team are no longer safe. The Raiders are signing veteran kicker Matt Gay, and that practically confirms one thing: Daniel Carlson might be out. And this is where fans start to get divided. Carlson has been with the Raiders since 2018. For years, he's been one of the most reliable kickers in the entire NFL. But last season, his performance dropped. The numbers: 22 of 27 field goals made, 21 of 22 extra points, 81.5% accuracy. For many kickers, that would be a normal season. But for Carlson, it was his worst year since joining the Raiders. Even so, the decision to replace him surprised a lot of people, because the guy had basically become an institution within the team. Now here comes Matt Gay. Gay is a 31-year-old veteran kicker with a respectable resume. Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion with the Rams, previous stops with the Buccaneers, Colts, Commanders, and 49ers. His best season came in 2021 with the Los Angeles Rams. That year, he made 32 of 34 field goals and played a key role in their championship run. But let's be honest, his most recent season wasn't spectacular either. In 2025, he made 17 of 23 field goals, only 4 of 9 kicks from 50-plus yards. So he wasn't exactly a scoring machine either. So why would the Raiders make this move? There are two clear possibilities. First, salary. Second, a culture shift. When a franchise enters a rebuild, it often starts changing even the positions that once seemed untouchable. It's a way of saying, we're starting from scratch. And just look at how big the changes have been this offseason. Max Crosby traded, Gino Smith traded, a new head coach, several free agent signings. Speaking of that, the Raiders have been one of the most active teams on the market. Players who have arrived include Tyler Linderbaum, Jalen Naylor, Kwity Paye, Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, Taron Johnson, Eric Stokes, Malcolm Kuntz. In other words, this roster is being completely redesigned. Now the big question is whether Matt Gay will actually be an upgrade, or if this decision will turn into another headache for the team. Because kicker might seem like a small detail, but NFL games are often decided by 3 points. So let's recap today's chaos. The Raiders traded Geno Smith to the Jets, even paying part of his salary to move on from him, and at the same time signed Matt Gay, which practically ends the Daniel Carlson era in Las Vegas. Two decisions that clearly show one thing: the franchise is rebuilding everything. Now I want to hear from Raider Nation. Would you have kept Daniel Carlson, or would you have made the change at kicker too? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments.